You have to realize that Blac Chyna is a fraud, and I will go to the ends of the earth to expose her. I am sure that you've seen videos of her on the internet lying to people with fake promises. Girl, she has also recruited her mother to lie along with her, making creepy moves to Dubai and messing with young girls and old men. Girl, I'm coming for your...
The world of celebrity and fame has long been a double-edged sword for those who dare to step into the limelight. On the one hand, it offers unrivaled riches, influence, and a life that many dream of. On the other hand, it can also expose one to intense scrutiny, manipulation, and the exploitation of those who are caught up in its ruthless grip. This is the reality that Angela White, formerly known as Blac Chyna, has found herself in as she attempts to distance herself from her past and reinvent her image in the public eye. But despite her efforts to redefine herself, it seems the truth about who she really is, or perhaps who she's been, is slowly being unearthed, and the consequences could be dire. Blac Chyna has been trying to make the transition from a controversial figure to someone who reflects faith, spirituality, and motherhood. Recently, she's made headlines for her new, more wholesome persona, one that she has carefully constructed in an effort to distance herself from the Blac Chyna of her past. Chyna has publicly spoken about her conversion to Christianity, her desire to become a better person, and her efforts to live a more peaceful life for the sake of her children. Yet, as she presents this new, polished version of herself to the public, there are people who aren't so convinced by the narrative she's trying to sell. And one of those people is none other than Megan Thee Stallion, who is now publicly calling out Chyna for her alleged involvement in dark and shady activities, some of which may involve coercion and manipulation. Megan, no stranger to controversy herself, has recently made some serious claims against Blac Chyna, claiming that she has been involved in highly questionable behaviour behind the scenes. According to Megan, Chyna has been sending young women, many of whom are vulnerable and impressionable, to Dubai, where they were allegedly coerced into engaging in inappropriate activities with older men. The details of Megan's accusations are both shocking and disturbing. These revelations cast a dark shadow over Blac Chyna's public reinvention, suggesting that she may still be involved in exploitative behaviour, despite the persona she's trying to create for herself. But these accusations are just the beginning. The allegations surrounding Blac Chyna's actions go far deeper than anyone could have expected, and they are about to take a turn that will make even the most hardened observers sit up and pay attention. Megan's accusations are not the only ones making headlines. A woman named Ava, who was allegedly victimized by Chyna as far back as 2022, is now speaking out, sharing her harrowing experience and demanding justice for the abuse she claims to have endured at the hands of Blac Chyna.
Because when I did come forward, a lot of people didn't believe me. If you do your research on crimes like this, many of the victims are homeless, addicts, they're trying to gain something. It's not like these women just get kidnapped off the street and forced into it, they're groomed into it. People pick women that no one will believe. In the court of public opinion, you know, someone's not going to believe the drug addict, drunk woman, or the woman with the bad clout chasey reputation. You know, they're going to believe the person who did the crime. If you look at the Diddy cases, like, so many of these people were introduced to him because they were trying to get a leg up in the music industry. It's very, very scary. It was hard for me to come on the internet and tell you guys this story, but last time I did, it actually helped a lot of women, and a lot of women ended up messaging me with very similar stories about her. The one woman even sent me proof of everything, and like the way Chyna was texting her was extremely similar to how I was being texted. Chyna was calling her her new little sis. Their stories are not my story to tell. To the women watching these videos, if you went through something similar, whether it was with Chyna or any celebrity, anyone, be brave. Be brave and tell it. If I can do it, you can do it too.
This story is one that could easily be overlooked in the noise of celebrity drama and scandal, but it is a story that needs to be heard. Ava, a young woman with dreams of breaking into the music industry, was lured into Blac Chyna's web of manipulation under the guise of a potential business opportunity. It was an opportunity that, in hindsight, she now sees as a carefully orchestrated trap. According to Ava, Blac Chyna invited her to her home at around 4 a.m, promising to discuss a potential collaboration. But what was supposed to be a professional meeting quickly devolved into something much darker. Instead of discussing music, Ava claims that Blac Chyna forced her into participating in disturbing, non-consensual activities with older men, activities that felt eerily close to what some would describe as human trafficking. Ava has since shared her story in multiple videos and social media posts, recounting in graphic detail the events that transpired that night. According to her account, Blac Chyna attempted to manipulate her into staying in a situation where she felt completely powerless. Ava claims that when she tried to leave Chyna's home, she was told she could not, and men were allegedly stationed at the door to ensure she wouldn't escape. Ava was essentially trapped, with no clear way out. In a chilling twist, she later revealed that she had gathered evidence of what had happened, including text messages and other documentation that she submitted to federal authorities. The impact of these revelations cannot be overstated. For one, it exposes the grim reality that some people in the entertainment industry are using their power and influence to prey on vulnerable individuals. It also raises the question of how many others have been silenced or ignored when they've tried to speak out. Ava's not the only person who has experienced this kind of exploitation, and as more women come forward with their own stories, it becomes clear that Blac Chyna's past is far from innocent. But what's particularly troubling about Ava's experience is how Blac Chyna allegedly used her status to manipulate the situation. Ava has said that Chyna repeatedly asked her questions about her identity, asking if she was transgender and if she had ever worked as an escort. These questions, which seemed to be designed to demean and dehumanize Ava, were followed by laughter from Chyna and the men she was reportedly FaceTiming at the time. According to Ava, Chyna appeared to be mocking her and belittling her in a way that only amplified the discomfort and intimidation she was already feeling. Despite the harassment and manipulation, Ava eventually managed to leave Chyna's house, but not before she was subjected to further humiliation. Chyna allegedly forced Ava to remove her makeup, telling her that she looked better without it. The entire situation felt like a game of psychological warfare, and Ava was caught in the middle of it. She later explained that she felt completely trapped, unable to escape the situation due to the power dynamics at play. She wasn't just dealing with a famous woman, she was up against a system that seemed to exist solely to break her down and keep her under control. Once Ava had finally left, she immediately took to social media to share her experience, and that's when the story really started to take off. As more people learned about what had happened, others began to come forward with their own allegations against Blac Chyna. Several women claimed that they had experienced similar behaviour, with some even going so far as to say that Chyna had tried to recruit them into exploitative situations. These women, like Ava, found themselves caught in a web of manipulation and abuse, and they were left with the painful realisation that they had been used as pawns in a much larger game. Ava's courage to speak out has sparked a wave of support from others who have faced similar situations. But it has also drawn intense backlash from Chyna's supporters, who claim that Ava is simply trying to damage Chyna's reputation for her own gain. Chyna herself has vehemently denied the allegations, insisting that everything Ava has said is false. According to Chyna's legal team, the accusations are not only untrue, but extreme and baseless. They have even gone so far as to send a cease and desist letter to Ava, demanding that she stop speaking out about the alleged events. But Ava is not backing down. In fact, she has only become more determined to tell her side of the story and seek justice for what happened to her. This situation is about much more than just one woman's quest for justice. It's about the culture of exploitation and abuse that has long plagued the entertainment industry. Ava's story is not the first of its kind, and it won't be the last. Women have been silenced, ignored, and discarded for far too long, and it's time for that to change. But change will only come when people like Ava are willing to stand up and speak out, even when the odds seem insurmountable. The broader implications of this case are enormous. If the allegations against Blac Chyna are true, They represent a serious breach of trust and a violation of basic human rights. It also shines a light on the ways in which people in positions of power can manipulate, exploit, and control others, all while maintaining a carefully crafted public image. Chyna's reinvention of herself as a devout Christian and devoted mother may be sincere, but the darker side of her past cannot be ignored. The question now is whether the truth will finally be heard and whether justice will be served. As Ava continues to fight for justice, she is not alone. Her bravery has inspired others to share their own stories, and the tide is beginning to turn. The conversation around Blac Chyna's actions is gaining momentum, and it's clear that she is not going to be able to sweep this under the rug any longer. The truth is coming to light. And as it does, it will force people to take a hard look at the entertainment industry's darker side. Will Blac Chyna's past catch up to her? Only time will tell. This situation also forces us to reckon with the ways in which we allow powerful figures to escape accountability for their actions. For too long, people like Blac Chyna have been able to operate behind the scenes, protected by their fame and wealth, while others suffer in silence. But Ava's story, and the stories of others like her, are a wake-up call. The time for silence is over. The time for accountability is now. As we look to the future, it's clear that the battle for justice is far from over. Ava and the other women who have come forward deserve to be heard, and they deserve justice. It's time for the truth to come to light, and for those who have been hurt to finally receive the support and recognition they deserve.